Hello and welcome to the Live by Heart Today show number 68. This is a show designed to help you navigate change, uncertainty, and the world we found ourselves in. We'll talk a little bit about science, a little bit about how our body works, a little bit about intuition, and we talk a lot about transformation.
Streaming from Retro Earth Studio and brought to you by
Learn to play jazz piano like a pro, by a pro, with Jazz Piano Pro Essentials at jazzpianopro.com.
And wearehistorically.com, conscious human apparel. It's time for the next episode of Live by Heart
Today.
I'm Dawn Spiegelberg, medical intuitive and coherence coach. This is a show in our growth series. Today's theme is Cultivating Connection. And with me for today's Heart to Heart is my co-host, Wendy R. Wolf, professional transformation facilitator. I'm so glad you're here, Wendy.
I'm glad to be here. And every time I'm like, I'm so excited about this is my favorite thing, but connection is my favorite thing. I am very relational by nature. And so I recognize how important it is to be connected. And I'm really excited to be unveiling more and talking about why connection is so fundamental for our growth.
And we talked last show about disconnection, about fear. And we mentioned the physiology of fear. So if you haven't listened to that show, I encourage you to go back. That's show number 67, because it's important to understand. I want to mention that separation is perceived by us, by the human person, as leading to certain death. If we're separated from our tribe, if we're separated from our family, if we're separated from community, then our survival is threatened. And that leads to fear, which causes us to not be able to think through clearly. And it just is not growth. It's not promoting growth. And it's important to make that distinction. So we mentioned the sympathetic nervous system is the one that is the fear-inducing. We have to deal with what's happening in our environment right away. And today we're going to talk about growth in terms of how growth connects us and the importance and the value of connection. So
Yeah. And I was noticing in our conversations about this, how my experience of being one part of the web of life, which I believe is a reality. I believe we're all connected, but we forget and we lose our experience of it.
mm-hmm.
But the more I sow my consciousness back into the consciousness of the web of life, the consciousness of oneness with heaven and earth and all the children of the earth, I feel safer and more comfortable, safe and more comfortable. And it really shows up in my life, in my relationships. It shows up in my teaching. I just feel so much more comfortable being in front of people than when I was in the beginning, because I know we're connected. I might not perceive it in the moment, but I'm connected and supported by the earth and heaven, by spirit. So I'm okay. We talked about this some last week about, if our water bottle is full, are we in the flow, overflow of goodness, of safety. But I just wanted to say in the beginning that, I really noticed this in my own growth, willingness to unveil, bloom as myself, as a person who's naturally introverted and shy for whatever reason, that the more I really experience the connection, the more I can open.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned we lose our connection. And I'm compelled to ask, who's in the driver's seat of your life. And I mentioned that the organ of disconnection, the organ of separation, is the brain. And so if you allow your analyzer and your brain to dictate your life and the choices that you make and be in the driver's seat, then you will constantly feel disconnected. And this show is called Live by Heart Today, because the heart is the organ of connection. It's the organ that brings us together and allows us to experience all the blessings of the life and compassion, caring, kindness, all of those things. And so I love your example. You mention it all the time. It's like building a muscle. We can shift out of disconnection, and we can use the tools that are offered, and we provide them to people, to live in our heart, which perpetuates our experience of connection. And from connection, growth occurs.
Yes. Yes. And from my perspective, the heart, I mean, you have so many distinctions about it. I only have one. I have one. You have 1,000. My one is that the heart energy system, the focusing element of the heart, it has one job, which is to experience the oneness.
Yeah.
To experience that it is a web of life. It is a complete and total whole that we live in, and there's nothing else. Meanwhile, we live in this world of I, thou within that, and our brains, what I want to say is that our analyzers, our brains are really awesome. I don't want to get rid of them. Really appreciate them. Love the intellect. Just a matter of it's not allowed to drive.
Exactly.
Not allowed to drive. It doesn't.
Exactly.
It's not even good at driving. Like it doesn't even know where to go or how to go. It just knows how to be like, all right, here's the map, go left, go right. Oh, here's the spreadsheet, fill it in. Oh, here's the taxes, I know how to do them. Let me do some calculus. But like making a life that matters.
Not so much.
So much.
Not so much. And that's okay, because we need the brain to compare and contrast. We need it to measure, right? Chocolate or vanilla. It's really good at that. And that's what we need it to do. And it also limits, right? It lives in this place of duality where there's only chocolate or vanilla. But what about Rocky Road? What about bubblegum?
Mm-hmm.
There are more options than just chocolate vanilla, but because of the way our brain works, it limits so that a decision can be made. And our heart, when you say, its one job is for us to experience the oneness, yes, that is true. And I break out the little parts that we experience oneness through kindness. We experience the oneness through compassion. Yeah. We experience the oneness through love and acceptance and courage. Those are all ways in which we experience the oneness. And like you mentioned in our last show with regard to mirror neurons, when we are living in that way, we show the path, we shine the light for others to know that there's an option to live by heart, that you don't have to let the head and the brain dictate everything in your life. And that's separation.
Yes. Yes. And we've talked about this before, but I just want to explicate here because we're talking about this, who gets to drive the car. Yeah. I have a wonderful paradigm that I feel like works. It just works so well for me. And I love to share it about, sure, I, as who I really am driving the car, whatever you might want to call that. But in the driver's seat, in the passenger seat, I like to have the intellectual energy, because it's good at all those things like maps. And once I figure out, I want to go to the Bahamas, it can take the charts and the sails work better when it has a million good ideas about how to get to the Bahamas. Or maybe we could just take the plane, Wendy, and not have to sail.
Your choice.
Sail. I want to sail to the Bahamas. And then the emotions are also very important. There's some research coming out lately, maybe not even so lately, about how our emotional elements truly help us to make decisions and live a full life, because otherwise we are not effective. Our emotions actually help us with our choices, and without choices, we're dead in the water. But I like to have those emotions in the backseat, strapped in like kids, who can say, ice cream, park. I can say, after dinner, after errands, because if any of that gets to drive, things go haywire.
Yes.
So we don't need to go into that, but I just wanted to say what the metaphor that we're using is.
You told that story of Michael on the boat telling the captain to turn, and this is a good moment to say, we can use our feelings, I call them feelings, not emotions, we can use those to tell us what they see or what they experience, but they don't get to tell us what to do.
Yes. Yes, and it's great information. I see which word is it? Feelings. I see the feelings as body information. I want this, I don't want that. I like this, I don't want that. I feel safe here, I don't feel safe. I mean, it's so important. Just like listening to our children, so important. Nothing more important. Doesn't mean just because they want to never go to bed that they don't have to go to bed at 8:00. But we can hear them. We hear them. I hear you, honey. And it's time for bed.
That's beautiful. And how amazing would we be with ourselves, for ourselves, to ourselves, to have that same habit, that same benefit. I hear you, sadness. And you don't get to decide to stay up late tonight and finish that bottle of vodka, even though you could.
Good. Yep. Yeah, exactly. And honestly, all the body wants is just attention, communication, to be
connection.
Honored. Connection. It really, all it wants is connection.
Wants to be heard.
Yes. So we do that with our intellect. We do that with our emotions. We do that with our impulses, our sexual impulses, our control impulses. If we actually just say hi to them, they don't have to control us without us noticing or with us noticing. Yeah.
And they don't take over. They're not reaching into the front seat over us steering.
Yeah. Some try.
They sure do.
And that's where the muscle, and you said before the muscle, I like to say the very things we go to the physical gym for are the things we get on the inside when we do the practice, when we use the tools over and over. Yes, we get the strength. We also get the endurance. We get the balance. We get the flexibility on the inside. We need it even more on the inside, all those things, than we do on the outside, I would say.
And power too. So when we have strength, flexibility, and endurance, there's a different power. And I mentioned I was pulling ivy, and I did some exercises for my lower body, and I was able to pull the ivy with more strength, which, I wasn't working my arms and my back. I was working my legs and my hips. And that gave me an amazing amount of strength, even though you think of pulling ivy as just with your arms. So it gives you power, it increases your power, which means what? Then you're able to do it again, and it becomes easier, and you remember to do it.
Yeah, we have access and the physical power to get the job done. And then in our soul, we have the spiritual power, the soul power, this energetic power to get the job done. And I'm just thinking of this great show that I'm watching. And I don't need to go into the details, but there's this one guy, he's really, he's all that. He not only is very strong and power, he's gone to the gym. He's gone to the gym and he has a lot of experience with, all the things you need to do to be safe out in all these things. And it's so fascinating to watch this character. I mean, I love this character. He's very, very layered. Usually the muscle, it doesn't always get a lot of personality development in movies.
Mm-hmm.
He's the muscle, but oh my gosh, he's so layered. But anyway, I love him. And I watch him just be able to choose and have his choices hold because of all of this. He's done the work inside and out to be just you don't mess with me. And they don't mess with him. This person is not going to get pushed around anymore. And the other person is not pushed around anymore because he's got what it takes to hold it. And we can too, to just say, this is what goes around here. And it does energetically.
You're reminding me, this is the hero's journey. So he has a vision. This is what he's going to do. This is his purpose. And so the character you're watching has a purpose. And while he's working toward this vision and moving toward it, he's getting stronger. He's developing boundaries and guidelines, and he knows the direction he's going. And so it gets perpetuated. It gets reinforced over and over and over again.
People don't mess. And when he chooses, he doesn't usually, but when he chooses to stand for someone else, something to happen that's bigger than himself, it happens. So I just love watching that because I want to do that. When I stand for something bigger than myself, I want it to stand.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So this all comes out of our connection with ourself and others and heaven and earth.
And when we are connected to ourselves, this character is connected to his purpose, what he's there for.
Yeah.
In the moment when it's questioned, he stays strongly connected to himself, which can be perceived as disconnecting himself from other people, but it actually serves to bring endearance. People are endeared to him through boundaries. And this is a perfect parenting example. How many parents with their children, just through what they believe is love, let the children be wild and out of control. And go ahead.
Oh, it's just not healthy for them. They don't feel connected. They don't know they're safe. They don't know where the boundaries are. They don't know that they can depend on the adults because the adults are going, ooh. They can't depend on the adults. So it's a very unsafe world when they don't know.
And it's not comfortable for the parents either because the children are unpredictable. And so the parents are on edge and stressed, which is fear, which is sympathetic. And it's bad for everyone.
Yeah.
They're disconnected.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be, it doesn't mean we're controlling our children all the time. It just means that there's some simple boundaries that are clear and don't change.
And this provides them the level of safety, which is that foundational step from Maslow, the bottom of the triangle. They're fed, they're clothed, and they're safe. And this is what allows you to move your way up to cultivating connection, to higher states of being, self-actualization, contributing to society. And without the foundation, which many parents don't understand how to provide because they think it might be unkind or it's not loving enough. Where did that story come from? They're actually doing themselves a disservice because they're heightening their own stress and things are just unpredictable for them too. So it's really dysfunctional.
Yeah. Yeah. Wanting connection with the kids And also, I think not understanding that we're equals as human beings. We're all equals.
Yeah.
But we're in a role. We're in a role of parent or adult caretaker, in which we have responsibilities to set a structure that works, and that's not always understood. Like, we're equals. We're spiritually equal. We're soul equal. We're humanly equal. Meanwhile, there's somebody has to say the vegetables get eaten.
With the vegetables must be eaten, let's take a short break.
Let's give a shout out to our sponsor. Thank you, We Are Storkley, for your conscious human apparel.
Hello, I'm Dawn Spiegelberg, a heart coherence coach. How do you feel supported in your life when the rest of the world is anything but supportive to you? It comes from inside. It comes from the foundations that you create day in and day out. The most important thing in understanding how to maintain happiness is the time, because it's the time that you put into maintaining your individual happiness that doesn't just happen overnight. It takes an investment. Live an amazing life and let me help you live that way. Right? Book a session.
Hello, my name is Wendy, and I'd love to invite you to our new Graceful Soul workshops on Thursday nights. Join me as we go deeper into healing, into meditation, into soul reading. We'll go deeper, we'll learn more, we'll develop all the parts of ourselves, especially in the soul, which is my specialty. These workshops are especially for mystics, healers, lovers, and leaders. I bet you that's you. So please come Thursday nights at 5:30 Pacific. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you soon.
Hi, I'm Darius Wilrich. I instruct an online video course that teaches anyone how to play jazz piano like a pro with my proven step-by-step system that makes it simple to learn. Jazz Piano Pro Essentials. Learn the quickest way to start memorizing and playing scales today. Download my free Quick Start Guide.
Welcome back to the Live by Heart Today show. We were talking about parents and children and who is eating vegetables. And Wendy made a great point about being equals, recognizing the individuality of children and parents, and then playing the appropriate role when it's necessary. And I wanted to bring back our example from the last show, that when your bottle of safety is filled from source, then you're not looking to your children for security. And that's where the relationships really get botched up and misunderstood. And children are looking to the parents. And I believe it's the parents' job to provide the example of how to be full in your bottle of safety, security, love, acceptance, and self-value. Because that's how the children learn. And then they themselves learn to do it for themselves.
Yes.
So that's what I wanted to say about that. Self-responsibility to a
Yes.
certain degree.
Yes, and self-governance. And they learn it not by just being able to run wild all the time when little, but having structure and learning step by step within the structure to have self-governance and self-responsibility, and watching the adults do it. Hopefully.
Yeah. The example of adults is super important. And furthering our conversation about growth and connection and children and parents, we'll be talking about oxytocin in future shows and the importance of the hormone for strong parent-child relationships, as well as we'll discuss the vagus nerve, which is so important in the parasympathetic response, which is essential for our ability to grow.
So I'm really looking forward to that. And I just want to explicate that today we're talking about why connection is so important. And in the next, I hope, couple shows, we're going to be talking about the physiology of this and how to encourage this and encourage the place of safety and connection and self-valuing.
Yeah, the importance of connection I see regularly just in the way my family is set up. So my son was injured and he needed help with everything to get ready for his day. And so I was putting on his socks. And normally I would be grabbing my bag and my keys and we'd all be getting in the car together. But I was doing everything for him. And the moment that I realized, oh, he's not going to be eating his breakfast here at home, I needed to pack it up. My husband beautifully stepped in and wrapped his hand. He had injured his hand. And so that was so endearing to me, because he was able to just take a moment and do this simple thing so that I could do something else, and then we were able to leave together. And us being connected, if he had been upset with me about something, he may not have been attuned to what was happening and how we were needing to go to leave on time. So this idea of connection is really important for all our relations, important for our family units, in order for us to grow. And my appreciation for my husband is greater. The integrity of our relationship is one notch higher. So it's really important for all our relationships and our relationships with ourselves too.
Yes. And this whole thing of the parent-child relationship shows this so well, that there's this seeming disparity. One person is playing a role of, leading in some cases, but on the deep level, we're all even, we're equal. And if we take that to understanding our connection with all, and we're all even, no matter what it looks like, we're all valuable. We all have something to bring. We all have an instrument to play. Then I find it easier to play my instrument. I find it easier because I'm not like trying to be better than anybody. I'm not special. Everybody's special. But if I need to play my instrument, because the instrument is part of the orchestra and I need it. So if I understand that we're equal, it helps me, and maybe people like me, to be like, oh, I have to really play my instrument. I have to be willing to shine. It serves everyone if I'm willing to shine, if I'm willing to blossom. That all is growth. But I am tempted to hide under my bushel because I don't want attention, but also I don't want to be ahead of anybody else. I don't want to be saying they're not important. Everybody's important. All the bushels off are the way it works really well. So the connection, understanding the connection of all helps me to grow, helps me to shine. And I believe some other people too. I mean, there's other issues that get in the way, but I believe that's one of them. So I just wanted to say that before we were done. It really helps us to get over worrying about, everybody has their own instrument. Everybody's shining in their own way. There's nothing to worry about. We're all equal.
You're making a good point, and this is another distinction of what the brain does. So if I focus on the fact that I have a bushel and I want to keep it down and I don't want anybody to see me, that's the brain focusing on something that for me is the wrong thing to focus on.
Yep.
When you allow your brain to focus on the light, to focus on the life purpose, the vision, then it's easy to throw off that bushel. It's a different experience because you're focusing, you've shifted your focus. I've noticed, here's another example, the coronavirus 10 pounds. I've got the coronavirus 10 pounds. And if I constantly focus on the 10 pounds, my little spare tire, that's the wrong focus. What do I think? Oh, there it is again. Oh, why isn't it going away? Oh, what do I need to do to change? That's the wrong focus. If I focus on my health, if I focus on the food that is best for me, that provides my good health, then I'm not focusing on that negative aspect of it. And my mind is much more positive. I'm steeped in what's right, not what's wrong. And from that environment, from sowing the seed in the good soil, not complaining about the rocks, not noticing all the weeds, but focusing on the seed in the good soil, then my weight changes. And I fall off the wagon because things will happen. We'll decide to have pancakes on Sunday morning, and I'll be just like, oh, don't eat the pancakes. But I'm not remembering that. I like eating my husband's pancakes. He's got a great recipe, by the way. But it just doesn't serve my highest good. So stop focusing on that and focus on the right thing, like go hiking. Focus on that. Working out.
Mm-hmm. And that we're connected and we belong and all is well and we're safe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then,
Focusing on, the fact that I do have my health so I can go hiking.
Yeah.
I do have balance in my body so I can lift this weight or pick up a chicken or whatever it is I need to do.
yes.
That's our show.
Awesome. Hooray. So
Thank you.
Thanks everybody for coming. And I hope you come the next couple times because we're going to really dig into the physiology and the practices that can help.
Help us stay connected and stay in growth. Thanks to everyone who's with us today. And if you're watching, please let us know. We want to hear from you. Tell us what is on your heart and leave a comment. For more information about how you can live by heart, please go to livebyhearttoday.com. Like and follow this page and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our programs. We're here every Thursday at 4:44 Pacific time. From our heart to yours, we are creating a better tomorrow because we live by heart today.
And that concludes this portion of
Live by Heart Today!
Thank you for watching. View more episodes on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you, We Are Storically, for your conscious human apparel. Shop online at wearestorically.com.
Hi, I'm Darius Wilrich. I'll teach you everything you need to know about playing jazz piano like a pro with my 12-week online video course and downloadable guidebook, Jazz Piano Pro Essentials. Enroll today at jazzpianopro.com.
Thank you for joining us. Have a happy always.